Many thanks for staying with us and welcome to another edition of The Beam on Channels Television. I am Victor Matthias. Now, while the number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Africa gradually rises, its governments are taking major steps to slow and potentially stop the virus from spreading. A number of African countries have instituted restrictions on movements of millions of people, and with Nigeria, with over 110 cases, Nigeria is set to join the list as it has imposed a lockdown on Lagos and Ogun states, as well as the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, starting from 11 p.m. today, March the 30th. So on the program today, we will be looking at how people can leverage technological tools to make their homestay as profitable as possible. But before we get to that, let's see what made the social media folks speak the most in the past week.
After so much hue and cry from Nigerians, often online, President Muhammadu Buhari finally addressed the nation on the COVID-19. During the address, the president announced a lockdown on Lagos and Ogun State, as well as the Federal Capital Territory, with exemptions on sectors that are essential to the survival of Nigerians. A global campaign to contain the spread of the coronavirus made the headlines as tweets asked each other to stay home in order to save lives and save themselves. The campaign preached against unnecessary movement and obedience to the stay-at-home directive given by state and federal governments.
Well, there you go. Those were some of the things that caught the attentions of tweeps in Nigeria as well as globally. But joining us to look at today's topic, we have with us Anthony Nwakalo. He is a mineral and mining consultant. He is also an environmental biologist by discipline. He has gathered experience in various areas, including banking, media, business development consulting, and commodity trading. And also, he is an ardent lover of knowledge. We also have joining us David Alozie. He is a digital economist and transformation expert. He possesses experience in areas of telecoms innovation and digital platforms and has founded several tech consultancy firms and startups. It's a pleasure to have you guys on the program today.
Thank you, Victor.
Thank you.
Of course. We also have joining us via the Google Plus Hangout, Bamishaye Victor. He is a Nigerian medical doctor, author, and a social-political analyst who is dedicated to a life of service that will positively transform both local and global paradigms. Victor, it's a pleasure to have you on the program today.
Bring me around.
Of course, we also have Samuel Ofori, a medical doctor as well, an expert in healthcare policy and management, and a postgraduate student of tropical medicine and international health. Dr. Samuel is an avid enthusiast of politics and international relations, and he joins us via Google Plus Hangout as well from Accra, Ghana. Thanks as well for joining us on the program.
Thanks for having me on the show, Matt.
Of course. But let me just come to you, David, kicks out this conversation for us. I mean, a lot has been going on since the break of the COVID-19, the pandemic declaration by the World Health Organization. And now we're beginning to see that there is a need to find a cure. But, you know, before you do that, I mean, how do you even trace people who have it that have not even submitted themselves? And people believe that technology can play a key role. But even if technology will play a key role, how do you think technology can come in?
Okay. Thanks, Victor. Well, before now, there have been ways in the past where the use of artificial intelligence and data science have been used to predict outbreak of diseases. And what it involves is that the system is made to pick up some kind of characteristics at some point because, like they say, there is no smoke, there is no smoke without a fire. So things happen for a reason. There are things that lead to something. So if you are able to pick up what is causing them, where are they coming from? So for example, they used to predict the outbreak of cholera. Was there a flood? Was there some kind of weather conditions? So they used to predict.
So how do we use it in this aspect now?
So in this aspect, we already know the behavior of coronavirus, how it spreads. And for people who contact it, they might not know until the next 2 weeks. And if you in proximity with the person or you touch where the person touches, you could also contact it. So you might not know. So with the use of an AI system backed up with the Geo platform, we're able to know, okay, this guy, he is affected, confirmed. So who are those that were with him, have come 6 meters, where he is, using some data points which already exist, okay? And with that, you're able to predict and say, okay, in the next 14 days, the next 7 days, okay, this person has gone from here to here. These are the possible hit points. If the person has gone to a state in Nigeria.
So pretty much you can use that for contact tracing.
Yes, just track people and predict who could be the carrier and who could have caught it where. So because presently now there is no automated way with which we know who has it, and it's very dangerous.
All right.
Because all we just know when you go for a test, you say, hey, this guy's got coronavirus. But the government could be proactive, putting up together an AI system that leverages telecom and AI, then it can track and predict. So we know what to do, who to quarantine, and who to check out for. With that way, we can contain the spread.
All right. Anthony, let me bring into the conversation. I mean, one of the measures that the NCDC, the WHO, the Federal Ministry of Health, and state ministries of health have spoken about now is the fact that you need people to stay at home. I mean, you're at home, you have the internet, you can do a lot of things with it. But do you think that is the most effective way that will keep people at home, the internet, so to speak?
Thank you, Victor. I look at it from two perspectives because there's so much you can do with the internet. I mean, you can watch movies while you're forced to stay at home. You can research. There's a whole plethora of game apps, gaming services that you can engage in. So I would say for us that are using 4G, it's positive. I cannot say the same for those who are using 5G, though.
Why? I mean, is 5G not supposed to be an upgrade, from the 4G?
Well, there's something called the law of cause and effect. So 4G is using less destructive radio frequencies than 5G. That's just the best and simplest way to put it.
So should we say it's a blessing in disguise that Nigeria hasn't yet upgraded to 5G at this point in time?
It's in disguise because the people don't even know what 5G is. A lot of people hear 5G, but don't realize that there are millimeter waves in the extremely high frequency band, and they are quite destructive to the human body or every living organism, foliage, plants, over time. So for us who have to stay at home here, like you said, and use 4G to watch Netflix, and it's perfect. Radiation is less. But those who are forced to stay at home, in Europe, in the US, in South Korea, in Italy, and are forced to do the same things we are doing, like you mentioned, but having to use 5G, I don't think they would share in our joy eventually.
Eventually. I mean, so categorically, you're saying that if 5G comes to Nigeria, there's going to be a problem?
There's definitely going to be a serious problem.
I'll come back to you on that, but let me quickly hear from Samuel, who is joining us from Ghana, Accra. Samuel, again, thanks for joining us on the program. So Ghana, like Nigeria, is also going to be, starting its own lockdown. So how prepared are you for this period?
Okay, Matthias. Could you please repeat the last part of the question?
I was just asking how prepared you are for the times ahead.
Okay, so here in Ghana, we are also under lockdown, as you are aware. The president announced the lockdown on Friday and gave a 48-hour window for citizens to organize and mobilize themselves, also for security services to get structures and things in place to make sure that the lockdown is in effect. And this is because the two main epicenters of the coronavirus disease here is in Accra, the greater Accra part, and also the greater Kumasi area. So these places are under lockdown, and that's what we are observing for now. So yeah. I don't know if I got you clearly, but that's...
Yeah, but I mean, I understand there is a lockdown, so I'm just asking how prepared you are at this moment. And what are you doing? I
Oh,
mean, how is technology helping you, to stay, within the
okay, I
confines of your
understand.
home during this period?
Right, right. Technology is what we are all resorting to at the moment. On a very personal level, we are all making good use of personal productivity tools using technology, trying to work from home where we can do without physical contact as much as possible. We are trying to access technology to get that done. So a lot of meetings, even some clinical meetings among doctors, unless it is especially necessary, we can get on Zoom conferencing and use other technology tools as well. And also on the larger scale, in the medical field, that is where I'm working now. So I think I may also want to focus on how technology is helping us in that area. For example, because of the lockdown and logistical constraints in Ghana at the moment, our national medical drone delivery system is also, helping deliver essential medical supplies to a lot of remote areas that cannot at the moment have access to such. So the Ghana Health Service as well is also employing technology, not just the software part of technology, but also, to address logistical constraints and logistical inefficiencies in the system. Also, a lot of people, health workers, public health experts are also using technology to reach out to the larger population, the
All right.
masses, in our local languages, to explain to them the symptoms, the protective measures, the preventive measures that we need to put in place. Because as you are all aware, there is a lot of misinformation going on. So health workers and experts have to get ahead of the disinformation curve and
Okay.
disseminate the right information to people. And we are making use of technology.
All right, fantastic. Victor, let me get to hear from you as well. I mean, you are a Nigerian, you're in Poland, and I mean, Poland also, also on a lockdown. What tips would you give to Nigerians that have been useful to you, as we go into this phase?
Oh, thank you very much for having me, Victor. First of all, for me as a person, I'm a very introvert person. Uh, Although maybe ambivert to be precise. So I've always enjoyed this thing we call isolation. I've always enjoyed the comfort of my home. So for me, it's nothing new, nothing strange. However, I think the first thing I would like to say before I move forward is to please beg telecommunication bodies in Nigeria to please reduce the price and the tariff of internet. For an average Nigerian, when you're talking about technology, all you're saying is internet. And as of now, when people cannot produce so much wealth or money or revenue to be able to afford it, I think it would be a good part of their corporate social responsibility to look for how to reduce this price so as to make internet available and accessible to Nigerians. But for me, most of my classes have moved online. I have much more time to study the things that I've been looking forward to study. So the tips are, if you are a reading person, I think this is the time to go and download the books you've always wanted to read. And the beauty of isolation is that if you take control, then for you it becomes solitude. And with solitude, you get in touch with your person. And so for those who will take good advantage of this lockdown, I see them coming out a better person at the end of everything. And the good thing about it, again, is as a people, it gives us the opportunity to look at ourselves as a society and see in what ways can we be better. So, of course, technology affords us that opportunity to look at much more alternatives going into the future, as against many many ways we've been doing things in an analog sense. We can begin to understand that digital is the future.
All right. Well, indeed, I do quite agree with that digital is the future. So, quickly, just before we take a quick break, governments, everyone has been speaking about working online. Even the chief of staff to the president also reiterated the fact that he works online. I mean, so when you're working online, what tools are they using to work online from their homes, quickly?
Okay, so it's more of like a video collaboration tool.
Samuel made mention of Zoom.
There's also a document collaboration tool where there's some tools you can use online where two or more people can work on a document real time. There could be document repository tool where, as against trying to go to one office to pick up a document to print it, I could pick it up from somewhere on the cloud. then I append the signature, things
And
could
that's
actually
it.
go. Yes, I could append signature online, real time. So a lot of these things which we feel cannot be done physically can actually be done online.
Online.
So we feel that something can, so we can do that and
All
make
right.
things faster.
I'll come back to you again, but we'll take a quick break and we'll be back in a moment to continue this discussion on how Nigerians can survive during this lockdown period. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Well, as you're watching the program from your homes and from around the world as well, you can be part of the conversation. Just tweet at us using the hashtag at Channels TV, at Channels Beam, at Victor_MBIDI. And you can also use the hashtags at Channels Beam as well as the hashtag coronavirus. Well, let's continue with this discussion. So pretty much just now, I mean, the federal government has said it's going to use is contact tracing about 6,000
people.
Yes. So how would you think they can implement all of those things you mentioned earlier?
Well, if they are going the manual way, it's going to cost so much, it might not be accurate. But the government could leverage telecom artificial intelligence system, a way it kind of automates and putting some data together, analyzes and predicts where these people could be, who they may be, where they have been to, who is liable to have contracted it, who should be on quarantine. And it's going to cost them much and give them very good data points which they can act on for now and the future. And I tell you, this is something they can put together within a few days if they know they have the right tools and know what to join together. The data points exist, the source of those data exists, and they can be put together in a few days.
So how do we harness those points?
Okay,
how do we, how do we leverage?
Okay, so what the government needs to do, first of all, is look for how they can leverage your location data from telecoms, then have an AI system that analyze those data. So in analyzing those data, AI has a way of predicting even the future. So those data can predict. Those data can be predicted, know their location, where are they, where have they been to. Like, okay, I find out Mr. A, he's got the virus, okay? And tell me, okay, I've been in contact with these few people here. Then we put the data point together, the system analyzes it and say, hey, this guy has been here, he has been here. This is a hit point. This state could possibly have more people contacting it. This area in Lagos could have this. So that way, the government carries out informed decision and it's targeted. There will be less guesswork,
so that
higher
would pretty
accuracy.
much give them like a bird's eye view.
Exactly. You can even monitor social distancing. You know who is keeping social distancing, who needs to be quarantined.
I mean, I can print as much as I like this, but won't this invade on people's privacy?
So yes. So it depends. Desperate times call for desperate measures. It's about life or privacy.
Okay, all right. But I mean, Anthony, let me come back to you. Like I said earlier on, you spoke about the 5G, and getting concerns. I mean, so what are those dangers, so to speak, now? Because I think now is the time that people can actually look at those and verify for themselves.
Yes, thank you, Victor. I'm glad that I have this opportunity on a tech show to discuss what I consider to be a clear and present danger, and I'll try and summarize why. So if you take for the discerning mind, if you take a very close look at the COVID cases, there's a very, very sharp similarity with cities that had 5G rollouts from June into September last year. And for those who are particularly interested in science, and I'll break it into two very quickly. There's the science of the virus. So the virus is claimed to be surviving on surfaces, but a virus doesn't have anything like a cell that can support life function. So I have a question there too. Maybe virologists would answer that. But back to 5G, but back to 5G, because of time, we can't exhaust this on the amount of time we have. And I know I have a very short time. What 5G is an organism roasting device. Why do I say that? 60 gigahertz frequency cannot be good for any living organism. And the way Facebook, for example, things like Telegraph, I don't know how many people have heard of it, Internet of Things, AI, that, guests here mentioned, those kinds of things can't run effectively on 4G. So driverless cars and the new world, smart cities, smart homes need 5G. However, it's a bit concerning when you ignore the destructive radiation frequency just because we want to move into an internet age that's called 5th generation. Luckily for Nigeria, we are not in the bracket of those that have tried to deploy what is called small cells, which are the radiative devices that are put on poles.
Quickly, I mean, David, do you agree with this?
Okay. Well, as far as I know, recently the International Commission for Non-Ionizing Radiation Protection, which is the watchdog for WHO and the rest of them, after carrying out several analyses and years of reports, they certified 5G to be okay. And 5G doesn't go the long distance like 4G.
So that means you need multiple cell towers.
Nodes,
Yeah.
you call nodes,
Yeah,
multiple nodes.
Yes, exactly. So, and it has some limitations. Sometimes it could be barriers could block it like a wall once in a while.
The thing is, I mean, we're just lucky at the moment that, I mean, let me not say we're lucky, but the thing is, right now it's not in Nigeria yet, so pretty much people are still safe as they're in their homes, using the 4G, to, have a good home stay during the COVID-19. But let me bring the medical doctors, who are also part of this conversation. Victor, let me quickly come to you on this. So there's just a bit of a dilly-dallying here as to, how would I put it now? But on the 5G, basically, I mean, on how good or bad the 5G is, however, Nigeria is not yet on that spectrum. But from the 4G perspective, what is your own, how would I put it now? What is your take? What is your medical perspective on the 4G radiation, even before we move to the 5G?
Well, whatever you want to talk about, radiation has been proven to have little or nothing to do with virology. The best you can want to argue is that probably it affects the immune system, but there's even little or no data to support that, especially when the distance, which is about 5 meters from the main poles or of telecommunications, their antennas. So far, the meter between that and where human beings live is observed. There have been little or no data to support that they are harmful.
Okay,
but for 5G, you see, 5G even is less penetrating. It's a very less penetrating ionizing radiation than 4G. And if you look at where the virus, for instance, coronavirus now, are spread, you will find little or no correlation between 5G and the widespread. Look at Taiwan, look at the number of infection, look at Italy, look at the number of infection. The spread of this virus has had much to do with the carelessness of governments and citizens.
Let me hold you there, Victor. Just hold it. Let me quickly also hear from Samuel before we go. Samuel, looking at moving forward, I mean, just stay safe, of course, which is the main message that has been passed all around. But what would be your own message to other Africans who would also be in the very nearest future, coming into this lockdown phase?
My message to other fellow Africans, you mean? Yes, I would have wanted to comment a bit on the 5G bit, but okay, let's go to that. Because it is also important that as we are advising people, we also kind of, put the facts out there. Because as Victor rightly said, I'll come back to the
No, quickly, just go straight to it. We don't have time, Samuel.
All right. Yeah, so as Victor rightly said, we should be able to separate the facts from the, other theories that have not been proven. 5G and the virus, there is very little correlation. And if we study the spread of the disease and everything well, we can see how it is. The advice going forward that I would give to all other Africans under the lockdown and in this situation is that we should take medical advice seriously.
All right.
The virus is very contagious. It is spreading by aerosol means and so many other measures. And so we must observe all social distancing protocols, keep to all the preventive measures, and report to health facilities, call all the toll-free lines they have given, and report to health facilities when we have such problems. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Dr. Samuel, you joined us from Accra, Ghana, as well as Dr. Victor Bamishai, who joined us from Lords in Poland. Thanks, guys. Thanks as well to you, David. Thanks as well to you, Anthony, for joining us on the program. But a quick update. Questions have been raised as to who and how people can be tested for the COVID-19. And to respond to those questions, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control says it is working to expand testing capacity across geopolitical zones of the country. Currently, there are only 6 testing laboratories fully functional. And then about 7 more are coming in Abakaliki, Maiduguri, Kano, Sokoto, Port Harcourt, Jos, and Kaduna with a completion period of 3 weeks. And that's the program this week, the top 5 movie videos. You can find that on our Instagram page as well as our Facebook and also Twitter page. But that's the program this week. Thank you for joining and watching. I'm Victor Matthias. Bye for now.